Hi, it's me again with Corel Roll Tips and Tricks. Somebody posted this picture on Facebook, and I really think it will. I can't get it to trace. There are people that could trace this to a T, but I can't. I've already made a copy of it. So with it selected, I'm going to grab the crop tool, and I'm going to crop out just the cabin and the tree. And with having it selected, I've still got that for future reference for the text. The text is not going to trace. Let's put a yellow box around it, and you can see it is a bitmap, object, order, backup page. So you can see it's a bitmap. Now we're going to take this thing. I've already got my nudge factor. Let me set my nudge factor on 1 inch. I'm going to take this item and I'm going to trace it. Outline, trace, clip art. And what that's going to do is going to give us something that we could actually go up to object and ungroup it. And then we're going to take the boundary tool, which is underneath your weld tool, and then I'm going to move that back, and you see it created a boundary around my item. Now there might be some weak spots right in here, but we could kind of fix that. Let's just take a 2-point line and let's just connect that. It's going to miss a lot of details, but this is what we're going to do. Now we're going to take the rectangle tool, and I'm going to fill in with blue, doesn't really matter, and see how it cut out that part where I put that line so it's more solid. Now I'm going to take that and move it down. I'm actually going to move it over. And now let's take the smart fill, let's pick a different color just so you can see it. And now we're going to, and see I'm missing some of this other stuff, but we can add that back in a minute. But what's going to happen, so this is our original painting, but if you'll see in just a second, when I nudge that over, and see I've lost a lot, so I need to do a lot of cleanup. But the video really, to me, is about the tree. So I'm going to select them both, and I'm going to go to the intersect tool. And what that did, that made all the white background from the outside leave. So now we just got the white tree background, but that's easily fixed too. So let's move our red out of the way. And if you remember, this is our original, this is our bitmap. So now what we can do is take the Smart Fill tool, and I'm not going to do all the spots, but because my nudge factor hadn't changed, I'm going to hit these spots and I'm going to use the left arrow key to open up these spots. And I'm just going to do the ones that are maybe a light gray, and I'm only going to do the bigger ones just so you can kind of get the idea. And then we're going to go over here to this pine looking tree and do the same thing. We're going to take, and that's the void of the tree between the limbs and the branches and everything else. Now what we have is this. So now if we take this thing, let's move our yellow box out of the way. And if we use the Smart Fill tool, let's set it on blue this time. And then fill this in. See, it left the voids. So now we have the voids. So now if we go back to, let's make sure this is our original. That's our original. Let's take this and nudge it back over. And now, let's use the intersect tool. Okay, let me back up here. That's all grouped together. Whoop, if you ever see anything move it back. That should not have done that. Let me left click, right click. Yeah, they're there. Let's back up. Let's nudge that over twice. Maybe I didn't select it all. Go to the intersect tool. I don't know, for some reason it's taking out that part. So we'll just try it again. There's something right there that it's messing us up. You know what I might have done? I might have double clicked on the blue. Now let's do the same. So I made 2 spots. There we go. Now if we look and we bring the yellow box trick up, the back of the tree has got void spots in it. Now that's probably not going to engrave real good, and see how I should have closed this off more in the original and done something on the front. But this building could quite possibly engrave. You know, there's no really whites. It's a gray. If we take the color eyedropper tool and put on that part, see it's a R29, 29, 29 or 229, and you know you got some blacks, and I really think if I would have done a better job on getting the foreground with this, see there's just so many broken spots. And just kind of go over that real quick. If you remember, we took this and used the boundary tool. Well, we're going to move this over, and then you would just close up some of these gaps where the boundary tool couldn't get into, like we kind of did up here. If we take a 2-point line and you know go right through there, and you could actually let's cancel that. Maybe go from here to here. And then you could just use your imagination where it's going to leak, because some of this stuff's going to go away. But maybe if we took a 2-point line, let's just play. Let's close off some of this stuff. And as long as you go from node to node, I think you're going to be okay. And see, this ought to get all that interior part. I'm just taking the 2-point line, and that'll close up. That won't. I'm not going to worry about that little circle or that circle there, or even the lower one. I'm just trying to get the majority of the rocks and stuff. And see, we got quite a bit over here that's going to just, whoop. I'm trying to zoom in. And you could take a little more time and do different things with this. But see, all I'm doing is just making an area where I use the Smart Fill tool that it won't leak into. And we'll know in just a second. I'm trying to get the zoom tool. We need to close off a few more spots. Now I don't think we're going to have any leaks. So take your rectangle tool and use the Smart Fill tool. There we go. Now move that over and take your Smart Fill tool again, set on red or yellow, it doesn't really matter. So this is our original picture is right here. So now we're going to move this red, and you'd have to do the same thing with the trees again. Let me move this stuff out of the way. And then grab both these and intersect it. Look how much better the cabin looks. Now, once again, the tree part is gone, but that looks pretty cool. I've got a little funny spot right there that you could always correct afterwards. You know, you could take away these two nodes and actually select both those and right click and turn them into a line, and it'll close that gap. Now, like I said, you'd have to do the same thing on the trees to get rid of that, like we did prior, but that looks pretty good. And maybe you would have wanted, you know, change this, you know, maybe make those two nodes there connected, and just see what you want to do. Anyway, and then just because you've got the original, I'm going to Control G to group it. And if you remember, I've nudged the whole time. So see, it goes right on top of that one. So what we can do is just, this is the original. You could put that there, because all this is linked together, so you'll be able to move it in a second. And then just, the bad thing is 3 different texts. You know, that's just a straightforward, this is almost like Times New Romans. Maybe this is just a cursive. And just go through here and start typing out. It's all caps. And find a font that's close to that. Unless that customer has to have that font. And then if you could ask them for that font, you know, I'm not going to take a lot of time to, you know what? That's pretty close right there. And then just don't do that. Don't move. Back it up. Because we want that, at least we want the font where the other one was. And that's not the font, but it's, you can see how close it is. Anyway, I hope that helped a little bit, and thank you for watching.